The Stefon Diggs dilemma, the Diggs dilemma. DeMeco makes it official. I think he also offered me a roster spot. Not the best idea for the team. I knew they were in trouble, but that much trouble, who knows? Plus, deja vu, a lot to get into. 2 sleeps till the game. Let's go.
Yeah, it's the Locker Room on YouTube.
Good luck.
You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, Locker Room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the post to the city too. Landlocked, got the game in the headlock. Localize every time, can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top 2 and we not too. Plugged in daily digital on YouTube. We got taste for days, opinions to give, we got takeaways.
It is the Locker Room, #1 source for Texans digital content. My goodness, it's always good to be with you. Tuesdays, though, we got to be honest. Tuesdays are usually slow days. They're usually very slow. If you follow along with myself or Cody Stutes, SNL every morning, except 4 o'clock on Fridays. Tomorrow we're going to be live at 5, though, 5 Central. So be ready, because tomorrow is basically a Friday when it comes to the practice schedule. So tomorrow we'll be live at 5 p.m. So you can sleep in. You don't have to be up at 9. Reaction Monday, 9 a.m. on Friday. So right along with that. But normally on Tuesdays, when we're on the air, there's no practice. And there's limited news. You don't hear anything. And there's a lot of excitement because it's always exciting. You typically go on to the next opponent and you start focusing on that after reacting the previous day on Reaction Monday, but today was a little bit different. Today, we were in a situation where this was going to be the only practice access of the week. And we started the morning with DeMeco Ryans press conference. He had he made the Diggs thing official. We'll hear that in a second. Then CJ Stroud had a press conference. Then there was like a 3-hour gap. And there was a little walkthrough. We basically watched the players stretch and jog. Wasn't that fun? But there was some stuff to observe, and we will provide that with you here on the #1 source for Texans digital content. Let's start, though, with the previously mentioned press conference with DeMeco Ryans. DeMeco Ryans went up to the podium. He had some news. We anticipated it, but DeMeco made it officially official.
Thank you. It's a start. I know everybody's asking an update with Diggs. Unfortunately, he tore his ACL, so he'll be out for the year. Really hurts our team to hear that news, and he's been such an important part to our team, and just everything that he brought, not only on the field but off the field, the energy, the leader, like the way he worked every single day. He brought a lot to our team, and we have to pick up the slack. A lot of guys have to step up, pick up the slack, but definitely praying for him to have a speedy, successful recovery. It's definitely a blow to us.
All right.
Been able to talk to him. How's he in his spirits? Just like kind of how's he
Uncle?
right now?
Yeah, speaking to him, just like anyone would be, it's tough. Yeah, and tough news to hear, especially with how much he pours into it. Right, that's one guy who gave his all to everything that we ever asked him to do, and he's hurting, of course, and we're hurting for him as well.
When you came off the field with him, did you get any sense from him that he knew something was bad?
Yeah, it was still, trying to figure it out. You never make any determinations there on the field. There are a lot of evaluations and, tests and things you have to go through before, you understand, what the injury truly is.
Nico, with the guys you have, and with Nico, that you'll get him back at some point, do you feel good about what you have that you don't need to augment it, or do you feel like?
What if you said
Yeah,
no?
we like the guys we
We're here
have.
for those guys, by the way.
Guys have been
That's
here. They've
good
been
ass
working,
coach
understand
today.
how
Good
we
ass
do
coach
things,
today.
what we
Man.
do. And so we're excited to see who steps up next.
Obviously, Mixon has been really good for you.
All right, there you go. So then we're going to get into the mix and stuff, but that was the majority of the Diggs stuff. Some other stuff might come up. I'm telling you right now, the replacements, I don't know how confident you are in them. Man, they had some good quotes today. It was really, really impressive what those young men had to say. And it's kind of deja vu for those guys, and I'll tell you how in a second. But as far as the Diggs thing goes, I'll get more into this tomorrow. I'm going to talk about the top questions that emerge with the Stefon Diggs injury. I don't know how many there are. There could be 5, there could be 10. But I'll do that before SNL. I'll put that special edition video up. We'll still have the night stream as well. But as far as replacing Stefon Diggs, look, you basically have the same-ish receiving core as you had last season with a better Xavier Hutchinson. I don't know how much better John Mechie is. We might get a look at that. Maybe there's some sort of trade that they make. Maybe we see more Dalton Schultz. But it's going to have to be Tank and Nico, and we're going to have to see what those two guys got and what they're able to do. Good news is Nico Collins is going to be back against the Lions. I mean, he's going to be back against the Lions. You can take that to the bank, and then we'll see how it goes. But Thursday is going to be a really, really tough game for the Texans when it comes to replacing Diggs in the short term, because he clearly is your best remaining receiver. He's better than Tank Dell, and I don't know how you replace him, what you do, how you handle that. They're going to have to get creative. This is going to be where Bobby Slowick really needs to figure his stuff out. And right on cue, this is always the case. We need a guard. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you, brother. I don't know if they're going to get a guard or not, but yeah. Pedro says, can Diggs come back for the playoffs? What? I know ACL surgery has become a little bit better and guys are coming back a little bit sooner. That's in like 3 months, 4 months. I don't he's done for the season. So there you go. He's done. Space Age is right. He is done. Rob, little DeMeco criticism before we hear from him. Let's hear this. I think Miko is a great coach, but I'm going to have to start judging him on how successful they can help CJ to become. Our line isn't okay, and going with Dell will ruin our postseason hopes once he's down 2. I don't know what the hell you just said, my man. Maybe it's because I'm on that
high-grade marijuana called Kush on the streets. Did you know what that was?
Now I do.
Me neither.
But I have no idea what the hell that just said. I apologize for that, man. I don't think I'm like a Rhodes Scholar by any stretch. I did graduate college in 6+ years, but I can't even begin. I think you're saying the offensive line stinks. I have no idea, my man. No idea. Might be a big thing. I do not know what the hell that meant. Let's hear from DeMeco Ryans. Let's hear a little bit more from him. Be sure to subscribe, like, right along. But the big news, Stefon Diggs out for the season with a torn ACL. We'll hear from DeMeco Ryans, which was step 1 of today. And then we'll go to practice like we did. We'll talk about those observations. And we'll hear from CJ Stroud in between. But here's more from DeMeco.
Since all season, basically. Does he become even more important now that you're down a little bit in the receiver coverage?
No, it's all the same. Nobody has to do anything extra. Like Joe still just has to be Joe. Nobody has to do anything extra. It's just everybody has to continue to do their job and do their part to help our team, be successful. And that's just about every guy going out, executing, and playing to the best of their ability. That's all I ever ask of our guys.
Mixon has had some highlight reel type plays this year where people are kind of their jaws are dropped. Do you ever get jaw dropped over him?
For Mixon, I don't get jaw dropped because I've seen him his entire career and how he's made plays going against him several times and seeing the player that he is. So he doesn't surprise me. And that's how he is all week. He's on edge all week. He wants the ball every single snap, and I love that mindset that he brings.
With the short turnaround that you have this week, how instinctive or how collaborative is your sports performance department in helping y'all getting this team ready to go back this quick?
Our sports performance group they're the key to this week. Everything that we do is about recovery and rest. And our team has put together a really great plan for our guys to where they don't have to think about it. All they have to do is just follow the plan that our team has laid out for them. And just so thankful, for their support and their help when it comes to, helping guys
gonna be like a
recover,
sports
helping guys take care of their
performance?
bodies. Our
How
team is
important
second
is
to
the
none.
sports
I've never been
performance?
around a team
What if he was like, they suck?
that shows as much, love and so much care for our guys. I mean, this is first class, all the way from top to bottom, first class program that we have, and our guys should be very thankful to be a part of this program.
All right, so the sports performance question. Okay. That feels like a Texans radio type joint. Someone says, go get CJ Stroud, old teammate, and that's Space City Ballers. I say someone, man. Goodness gracious. He's swarming the super chat.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm. Go get CJ's old teammate Garrett Wilson. The Jets are done at this point. Send a third or a fourth in Kenyon Green. I mean, I would do that trade. I don't think that's going to happen. But yeah, that would be great. That seems a little maddening. Gustavo, will the Texans start taking winning serious? Chiefs and Ravens adding depth, and we just sitting here acting like we'll be okay with what we got. Chiefs added Nuke Hopkins. The Ravens added Johnson. Look, you're chasing those teams. I understand the frustration. I mean, they did spend a hell of a lot of money in the offseason. I think more than each of those teams. But yeah, you would like to see them make a move. You always want to see a move. Fans always want trades. I've never really heard fans upset that a team's trying to make trades. But yeah, it does feel like Baltimore definitely got better. DeAndre Hopkins can't be worse than what the Chiefs had. So yeah, let's hear some more from DeMeco.
You've always had confidence in the depth of your wide receiver room, but what if some of the guys like Hutch and Mitch done over the past few weeks or just this season that gives you even more confidence?
Yeah, one thing that sticks out, Hutch, Metch, I mean, all these guys, just from our last game, like just showing guys winning their one-on-one opportunities. Hutch, going to the ground there, making a tough catch. Metchy finding a way to win in an off-schedule moment there in the game and come up with a big catch. That's all we ask. Just win your one-on-one and make the plays that that you're supposed to make. If guys do that, like collectively as a team, we'll be just fine.
Henry was estimated to be good yesterday. Is he now ready to roll for Thursday?
Yeah, we'll see where Henry goes, but right now he was able to.
Toto's playing. He spoke with the media. Y'all know my rule. If they let him speak with the media, unless something crazy happens, he's playing. If you were in concussion protocol, they wouldn't let you talk. So yeah, Toto's going.
Go through in our walkthrough today, and it looks pretty good. So hopefully everything continues to keep trending upwards for Henry.
There was some good from Kenyon Green's performance. Did he do enough to maintain his starting spot with the offensive line?
Kenyon is done fine. Kenyon, of course, like I said yesterday, he had some bad plays. A lot of guys had some bad plays, and everybody's asking about Kenyon, and nobody feels, worse about this than Kenyon, right? And he knows he has to play better. He will play better, and let's go to work. Like, that's what it's about. It's not about everybody trying to figure out, is Kenyon out? And like, let's Kenyon is ready. He'll be ready to roll, and we won 6 games with Kenyon. Like, we got to keep going.
With all the obvious challenges of the short week,
I think I get offered a roster spot here. I think I get offered a roster spot here. Someone says, thoughts on Jake Asman talking bleep about me. I don't know what Asman said. We're friends, so I don't know. You're probably just being a weasel. But yeah, I don't know what Asman said, to be honest. But I think I think I got offered a roster spot here.
When it comes to bringing guys back from being hurt or anything, we hear a lot about it. Does it factor in? Is it acknowledged when talking about maybe Aziz or someone or Jimmy coming back? Does that factor in at all?
Landry, we got to get you on that playing surface to test it out. No, no.
Nico's trying to get me hurt.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Did y'all catch that?
I mean, you got to go play.
Did y'all catch that?
The short week.
DeMeco's trying to get me hurt.
Come into play at all when it comes to bringing guys back from being hurt or anything? We hear a lot about it. Does it factor in? Is it acknowledged when talking about maybe Aziz or someone or Jimmy coming back? Does that factor in at all?
Landry, we got to get you on that playing surface to test it out. No, no. It doesn't. I mean, you got to go play, right? If you're worried about a surface, you're worried about, like, things can happen at any time, any given moment, on any given field. So that doesn't come into mind. Just about, guys being ready to go. Of course, it's tough to get guys, ready on a short week. That's part of the business. We have to go. We don't care what surface we're playing on. We're gonna line up and go play to the best of our abilities. And if you worry about things that you can't control, then it's wasted energy. And I don't want guys wasting energy on things they can't control.
I know the answer to this question, but last year, not the best game on that surface, and really kind of one of the more resilient moments of the season. Does that reemerge? Do you remember last year, or is that just old news?
Yeah, I remember last year playing up there, but last year has no bearings on the game that we're playing, on Thursday. We have a different team. They have a different team. So it has nothing to do with where we are now, focused on our team this year and us. It's about us, getting ready to go play our best versus the Jets.
Coach, I know that he's I know how productive Stefon was when he was on the field, but how much has he brought to that wide receiver room as far as being able to teach players like Mechie and like Hutch and like Tank, throughout OTA's training camp and even up to this point to be better wide receivers?
Yeah, Steph has brought more to our team than I can explain to everyone here. Just standing here today is the leadership aspect off the field, not only, as you mentioned, starts with the receivers, but it's with working with him in training camp and seeing him pull the DBs aside and talk to the DBs about covering, right? It's that's where you have a special pro, right, who's truly, paying it forward, reaching back, helping the younger guys. And that's how the game is built. That's what the league is all about. Like, it's about pros like Steph who are able to teach younger guys, and those younger guys teaching the next generation of guys. So, man, love everything about Steph and what he brought to our team. We're just praying for him to get back healthy and strong.
Specifically, Tank Dell, what do you see from Tank as far as a guy that can be dangerous, be explosive, and
Tank just has to be Tank. Tank's been an explosive player in college. The U of H, he was explosive. He's been explosive for us, so Tank just has to be Tank. Happy birthday, Tank.
Didn't even know it was his birthday. 25 years old.
You've been able to pull those games out. Can you talk about the character of your team in those critical moments, especially down the stretch?
Down the stretch in this league, every game can come down to that final possession, and our guys understand that. We understand each week how close games are all around the league. It comes down to one possession more so than not. So it's about guys being confident, guys being smart in those critical situations, and just executing, right? And our guys are calm in those moments because we've been in a few of those moments. And our guys, they know what it takes to win in those moments. And, we've learned from mistakes that we've made in those moments as well where we weren't on the right side. So it's valuable lessons we've learned. We learn from other teams, but no greater lesson than learning from ourselves in these moments. And, I just hope our team continues to play big in the critical moments.
Tank does seem younger than 25, doesn't he?
Shirt selection. This is it's important. With the election coming around, I think it's important for everyone to make sure we go out, and voice our right to vote. For me, it's a lot of people sacrifice their right for us to vote, so it's important that everybody's vote is counted and heard.
And has that message been relayed to the team, just as far as voting?
Yeah, for sure. We've had the NFL came in and we had a meeting about voting, about getting our guys registered and making sure guys just understand the importance of not only the presidential election, but more so the importance of the local elections. And that's, kind of what matters most and what's going on right here in our backyard, making sure we understand who we're voting for, what they stand for.
They didn't ask who
sure
we're voting for.
We have the information in front of us.
That would have been whack.
We're knowledgeable when we're going to the ballots. When we're going to the voting stations, we're knowledgeable about who we're picking, and we're not just, doing it haphazardly, really being conscious about who we're voting for.
I know there's a lot more football to play, but how do you feel about
I
know there's a lot more football to play, but how do you feel about where your team is at midway through the season, firmly in front in the AFC South?
I'm excited about where our team is. To be sitting here right now 6-2, we're excited about where we are. As you mentioned, a lot of ball ahead of us, but And we talked about starting fast, and we've started fast. Our team has found a way to win in different fashion, whether it's offense, defense, special teams, different areas of our team stepped up and made plays to help us win games. So I'm excited with where we are and excited with
Brandon,
where
you're
we're going
getting
and
crazy
continue
now.
to build the right way.
You talked about playing with confidence earlier.
Getting crazy.
We've all had Kenyon Green questions over the last few days. How do you go about the confidence check or the swagger check of a player, especially on a short week, to make sure that they themselves is not losing that confidence, losing that swagger, just as a coach, making sure that they still have that?
And for me, I go back and I go to the film, right? You go to the film and you show players, right, what they've done well and the good reps that they've had, and just get back to doing that. Like Kenyon has had a lot of good reps for us, and I expect him to have some good reps this Thursday. All right, thank you guys.
All right, there you go. That is DeMeco Ryans. Look at that smile right there. He's kind of feeling himself. DeMeco is. We'll see what happens with the whole situation with Stefon Diggs. The Kenyon Green thing, I would not be shocked to see Kenyon Green starting. I wouldn't be shocked to see him with a tight leash, but we will see what happens with that. Let's hear from CJ now. CJ Stroud also spoke last year when CJ Stroud went to New York. He had the concussion, and it was one of the worst games of the year. Asked him about that. He also talked about Stefon Diggs. Let's hear from CJ Stroud. Glasses.
Stefon, first, emotionally, how do you guys process that? Losing him as out there as a friend, but also just the impact of his game not being out there.
Yeah, man, it sucks. It's not easy. It's not something that I just can have a whole bunch of words for. I just hoping and just trying to just wrap my mind around what happened, but it's tough. You can't really try to think positively about it, but it's not a bunch of positive thoughts, and I just really feel bad for him. He's worked extremely hard. I think he was having one of them, the best times he's ever had on a team. At least that's what he told us. So I just feel for him and praying for him. And just hoping that he keeps his head up high and he'll bounce back even stronger. So it just sucks.
CJ, obviously there's a lot more football left to play, but how do you feel about where the team is, kind of at the midpoint, firmly in front of the AFC South, with kind of the fast start you've gotten off to?
Yeah, I think it's a goal we had was to start fast, and I believe that
starting fast
we've been putting on some good ball, but we have a lot to still clean up. And it's just exciting times. It's coming into the two hardest months of ball is November and December. We get to in October on a primetime game, and it's going to be a great matchup against the Jets, and we got to be able to be ready and try to finish October the right way.
CJ, I know that you won't have Stefon's production on the field anymore, but how much has his leadership role, starting from OTAs all the way up until this past Sunday, how much has that impacted you all as far as on the offensive side of the ball?
Yeah, it's impacted us huge. It's Steph is, been somebody who, you can lean on as a friend, as a teammate, as a brother, somebody who gives you life advice, and just somebody who's just just an OG, just a vet, that, has played a lot of ball, and lived a lot of life, So I feel like, if he's still around, he'll still be able to do those things. And, it's just not fortunate for him, that he had to go through this.
I don't know if losing Stefon changes this, but how do you feel your identity is on the offensive side of the ball? 8 games into the season, where do you guys feel like you are?
We are where we are. I can't really put my exact finger on it.
We are what we are. What are we, though?
A game with a plan, and you have to find ways to win in this league because just like we adjust, the defenses adjust, and excuse me.
Bless you, man.
Thank you. And yeah, but I feel like our identity, is a hard-nosed football team, and having that special work ethic, that mentality that DeMeco talks about, and just being relentless. And I think the main thing for us is just execution and trying to execute better and better every week.
You are a student quarterback. I'm sorry. Somebody else talking.
Go ahead.
Made the most strides coming from the Packers game to this past week.
We actually, just kept doing the same thing we've been doing. I don't really, you know, it was a hard loss against the Packers. You know, we had a chance to win the game at the end, and, you know, we didn't get that done. But, you know, you have those days where you go out there and you just lay an egg, you know. So that doesn't mean you, like, flip the whole script and change the whole scheme and, you know, start pointing fingers. You know, it's really, at the time, that's where you really find out who's really there for you. And that's what we did. So, you know, we just stuck together and just figured it out, you know, as now we're playing, you know, a week after, you know, that to now after the Colts to, you know, going up to New York, you know, we got to find another way to stick together and play well.
The dynamics of this game Thursday, it's obviously going to be pitted. Aaron Rodgers against you, the older pro MVP, you coming on. But y'all not going to be on the field at the same time against each one another. So how do you put yourself in a position just go be CJ and let the rest of this stuff just play out on its own?
Just keep doing what I'm doing, you know, just go on the field, put on my pads, tie my shoes, and walk on the field and, you know, do what the Lord's blessed me to do, you know.
Look at that.
Yeah, it's no special sauce, just, you know, because we're playing against Rodgers, who I'm, you know, of course you guys know I'm a big fan of his, but yeah, I don't really think too much different, you know. Just I'm actually excited, you know, to go play against these guys.
When you have a lineman that's struggling, like Kenyon gets benched, is there anything specifically that you are saying to him, whether that's technique, confidence, anything like that, to try to get him in the right place?
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of things you can say, and, you know, I think Kenyon is one. He's the hardest on himself, which is a good thing, you know, and I believe
he
that,
is
you know,
accountable.
he'll continue to.
I will say that
get
he
better
is
and better,
accountable.
and, you know, I believe that, you know, he still is a great football player in my eyes, and, you know, he'll, you know, get better and better because, you know, he's still really young. You know, he missed all last year. He's still finding his rhythm. So yeah, I'm really excited to see, you know, him elevate his game this week.
What do you think specifically of Aaron Rodgers at 40 years old, being out there, still slinging it around and doing it at his best at a high level?
Slinging it
Do you
around.
anticipate yourself ever playing 20 NFL
I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is slinging it around.
Yeah, I respect Aaron, you know, and, you know, just the grind that he puts in. I actually got to meet him this offseason in LA at Proactive, where he trains, and I trained at for a little bit. You know, he's boxing, he's playing basketball, you know, he's still really active, and, you know, that's just testament to what
Aaron
he
Rodgers
puts into his body and to the work
Chancellor's
he puts
gonna
in.
ask
So, you
about
know,
it in a sec.
you know, just in all of that, you know, to be able to do it at a high level for 20 plus years is really cool. And personally, I don't know, you know, like I don't have the answer to that. You know, only God knows, and I'm just, you know, I'm just privileged to play right now. You know, you never know when this game can be taken away, and, you know, I'm just really honored, you know, to be able to, you know, walk into this building every day and, you know, to see people that I work with smile, you know, just having fun. So however long I'm blessed with to do that, you know, I'll take it.
You've always talked about the confidence that you had having the wide receiver room, dating back even to training camp. What if some of the guys like Mechie and Hutch shown you over the past few weeks gives you even more belief? And a side note to that, was Aaron Rodgers good at basketball when you saw him?
Yeah, Mech and Hutch are two guys, you know, that, you know, Mech is considered in year 3, but, you know, his rookie year was kind of last year with us. And, you know, I believe, you know, he's playing really good ball. You know, he made some big plays last game, and, you know, is somebody who I just think needs his ops, and, you know, he'd be able to do a lot. And I've been able to spend a bunch of time with him, one of my best friends on the team, as you guys know. So, and Hutch is the same way. You know, Hutch is somebody who I came in with. I've been throwing routes on air with him for, you know, 2 years straight now. And, you know, I think, you know, our connection, you could see it last week grow, and he'll continue to do better. So I'm excited to see those boys get the opportunities. And, yeah, Aaron had a good jump shot. Yeah.
All right, this is the final one. I asked him about protection. Like how much of the protection is depending on guys to protect you and you having to handle the protection. You know what I mean? Like he got pressured more last week than he did in Green Bay. He handled it better, so the offense was better. How do you prepare for that?
You talk about controlling what you can control. When it comes to protection, how much of your preparation is preparing for how you handle it as opposed to just assuming, like, I have to be perfectly protected? How much of it comes down to, all right, maybe I was pressured here, but I could have done this?
I mean, it's bullets flying, you know, it's very fast paced. Sometimes, you know, you can see it, sometimes you can't. Sometimes you can get away with it, sometimes you don't, you know, so it's like rolling dice. But at the same time, I trust my guys, and I'm not going to, you know, just as much as possible, I'll try to stick in there and, you know, and just, you know, step up in the pocket and make it right, have those minute movements. But, you know, I do a lot of film study on, you know, hots, and, you know, that's kind of the world we live in is, you know, throwing hot and, you know, trying to, you know, just live on in what we do and not, dictate. Not don't let them dictate what they want us to do. So, and I think I've, tried to, get some more responsibility up there, and I'm hoping the coaches, continue to trust me with that. And but yeah, it's part of the game, and I gotta, be better, I guess, when it comes to that, and we all can be better together as one.
All right, there you go. That's CJ Stroud. There were some incredible quotes. And we'll get to them in a second. This is always just the day stream SNL, the simulcast of myself and Cody Stutes is basically to set the scene, is to get us ready for practice. And we do that simulcast, and we appreciate everyone for joining. It's a good combination. His viewers watch on my channel or his channel, mine watch on mine. There's kind of a mix. There's a collaboration, and that's a good thing. But the night stream, we basically a little bit looser, a lot looser.
High-grade marijuana called Kush on the streets. Did you know what that was?
And then we just kind of summarize and we get through some stuff, interact and stuff like that. I don't think there's really like a Texans type of joint at that. So I appreciate y'all for rolling through. Nathan on the soup says,
You ain't never hate.
Swarm. Are we going to see Sims get reps on offense Thursday? I hope not. Be honest with you. I saw a tweet before I got I walked over to the studio. It said like that the Texans would regret not keeping Noah Brown. It was a little bit dramatic. It said something along the lines of, this will be one of Casario's worst moves. And like, I don't think that, drafting Kenyon Green in the first round instead of the guys that they could have gotten, Kyle Hamilton, among others, Tyler Linderbaum, the extension with Titus Howard, and some of the other stuff. I don't think that it's going to be one of his worst moves. But I mean, the reality of the situation is Noah's a better football player than Steven Sims, and the whole reason that Steven Sims was kept was to return kicks and punts. And he's not a better kick returner than Dameon Pierce. He's not a better punt returner than Robert Woods, Desmond King, or Tank Dell. So if that was the discussion and that was what the roster spot was for, then yeah. Now, up to this point, I don't know how much Noah does. And I'm a Noah Brown guy. I like Noah Brown. Interviewed a couple times on the radio. Just a real business-like Jersey guy. And they don't make the playoffs last year, I don't think, without Noah Brown and his contributions, despite the fact he wasn't healthy. But up to this point, I don't know that Noah Brown really contributes much to this squad. But in this situation, you would absolutely rather have Noah Brown than Steven Sims. And quite frankly, if we're really thinking about it, I don't know that there's a situation in hell where you would want Steven Sims over Noah Brown. Because at the bare minimum, Steven Sims' roster spot right now is pointless. Like, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be harsh. I'm not trying to, I like Steven Sims. He's a nice guy and, good for him for making the squad, but what is he bringing to the table? He's not covering kicks. He's not covering punts. He's not good. He doesn't contribute on offense. He's not good at punt returning. He's had the one punt return against the Ravens. He's not really good kick returning, and he's not a receiver. So it does look like a pointless roster spot. Now, the pointlessness could become kind of more magnified because you'd like to see a receiver step up. And last year we saw Noah Brown specifically in the Bengals game, the Tampa Bay game, the Titans game with Keenum. You saw him step up and provide you with very, very solid play. So that kind of gets questioned a little bit. We saw him catch the Hail Mary the other day on that fluke-ass play against the Bears, but yeah, Steven Sims on offense, I'm kind of good on that, bro. I don't really need to see that, to be honest with you, to be completely honest. And I'm just not really that big of a fan. Now, I do want to see some John Mechie, and I do want to see some Xavier Hutchinson. And they're going to get opportunities. And I think this is kind of like a day of redemption and a day of deja vu. And it is the locker room here, 10:30 night stream, Monday through Friday, 10:30 Central. Be sure to subscribe. Also, be sure to watch the SNL. Two guys on the digital beat, myself and Cody Stutz, the only digital beat reporters in town. Not breaking news, just reacting, providing the show, going inside the locker room and asking questions. This is a day of redemption for Hutchinson and Mechie. I don't know if y'all remember this, but last year there was a similar situation in this game where the week before the Jets game, Tank Dell actually got hurt, and Tank Dell was out for the season. The Texans before the game were wearing Tank Dell t-shirts, and there was talk about stepping up. One of those guys that you wanted to see step up was Nico Collins. Well, Nico Collins got hurt after making a big reception early in the game. And then you were down your top two receivers, and you were calling on John Mechie in his first full year as a pro and Xavier Hutchinson in his rookie season. You were calling upon those guys to get the job done. They didn't get the job done. Quite frankly, they didn't get the job done. They weren't getting open. The weather was ugly. CJ Stroud ended up getting a concussion. It was one of the most ass-ugly losses of the 2023 season. You lost to Zach Wilson, depleted receiving core. But this year, they get another chance because once again, your top two receivers are down, Nico Collins and Stefon Diggs. This time, Tank Dell, instead of having to watch this, he has an opportunity to go out there and ball out. And Hutchinson and Mech, those guys are going to be on the field with another opportunity. I spoke to all three of those guys that are going to be called upon to step up. Let's start, and this was on my shorts. If you look at the shorts, after every practice, I have a practice report live from practice, and I also put some of the questions that I asked players and coaches. So it's a good little nugget if you want to just check out the questions that I'm asking. But this one is on the shorts. This is Tank Dell talking about last season. He's kind of got a joke talking about bringing up the injury. But this was Tank Dell talking about being hurt last year and now having a chance to play in New York. Take it away, Tank.
Last year before the Jets game was where you got hurt, and your teammates were wearing they were wearing the Tank Dell t-shirts, and eventually they stepped up and got into the playoffs. How exciting is it to now go to the stadium where I'm sure it was hard for you to watch and get the opportunity to kind of fill the void for your teammates?
How exciting is it?
Yeah, how exciting is it?
It's very exciting just to play football, just to get on the field and be healthy enough to go out there and play is very exciting. So, I'm ready for it, and I never played in New York, so I'm ready to go out there and see what it's about.
All right, there you go. That's Tank. Now, we're about to get some really good quotes from the other two guys, and you expect Tank's wide receiver 1 on Saturday. You're going to love, and I mean love, what John Mechie and Xavier Hutchinson had to say. Before we hear that, the super Tazewell, the man.
You ain't never hate.
Swarm. Okay. He said, Sims reminds me of Charles James, except James had better socks. Sims might be a better player than Charles James, if we're being honest. Yeah, but I get what you're saying with that. I thought when I first read this, I'm not going to lie, I was kind of taken aback because I just saw Charles, and I thought you were saying he reminds you of Jamal Charles, and I was like, whoa, man, we might have to start putting folks in timeout. But I appreciate you, Taze. So we're going to hear from Xavier Hutchinson, then we're going to hear from John Mechie. And this is, you want to talk about some like really, really cool stuff. Like if you were disappointed by their performance last year and you're still a little bit skeptical about how they perform, I don't have like a high confidence level that these guys are just going to completely ball out. But I know this, I'm rooting for these guys because these are some solid individuals and young men. I did not expect to get this out of Xavier Hutchinson, but this is Xavier Hutchinson, and this is Adam Wexler's phone. I actually didn't pull my phone out because there were two cameras to my right, and I didn't want to like get in their way. NFL Films was here, so I had Adam Wexler. Shout out to Adam Wexler of 790. I had him send me His video, I didn't know that he still had the Nokia phone with Snake, but this is Xavier Hutchinson talking about the difference between last year and this year. I think you're going to like this answer.
Situation going into New York, you talked about stepping up. Didn't go as well as you'd hoped. What's the difference between Xavier Hutchinson this year versus last year when you were having to fill tanks for it last year and Stefon and Nico's this year?
Yeah, I say confidence. You know, there was a lot of doubt. I wouldn't like to say that, but, you know, it's a part of what it is. It's easy to say one thing and then go out there and do another. So, you know, my words really weren't following my actions. This year, I'm a lot more confident in myself. Like I said, I laid the foundation early in the off season to really just build upon that confidence and have a solid ground for confidence in myself. And really sticking true to that and knowing, you know, at the end of the day, I put in all the work that I could to be in the position that I'm in. So, you know, what better way than to go out there and make the plays that I know I can make.
Man, that's a hell of an answer right there. I mean, he admits, I had doubt. Went out to New York, I had doubt. That is Xavier Hutchinson being accountable and mentioning it himself. We'll hear from John Mechie. John Mechie's a powerful SOB, by the way. We know he's already overcome cancer. I don't know how good John Mechie is. I think the internet gets a little bit crazy about John Mechie, but my God, what a perspective. And look, I guess when you make the NFL and you beat leukemia and then you get back on the field, you're kind of playing with house money, especially if you trust in the Lord like he does. Not saying whether you should or shouldn't. I'm a man of faith, but if you're not, whatever. But it does seem to provide John Mechie with a crazy perspective of life that we'll hear from in a sec. First, though, Rick says, with our O-line, should we start focusing on quicker plays? I think it should be an option. I mean, I think that all bets are off on that. I think there should definitely be some quicker plays. I also think there should probably be some hard counts. I don't feel like I've seen a hard count with the Texans. And by the way, they're going to see a crap ton of those against the Jets. That's kind of one of Aaron Rodgers' specialties. I think he has like 7 touchdowns on free plays or something like that. There's some sort of, is it free plays? I don't know what it is. He has the most touchdowns ever on free plays, which is insane. And he'll challenge you on the free plays. He's very, very good at that. That's one of his best things. But let's hear from John Mechie here. This is John Mechie. Same question with Hutchinson because it's the same situation. Listen to this guy talk. My gosh, John Mechie's impressive. Here's John Mechie talking about the situation, the layout.
Last season, Tank went down before the Jets game. There was talk, Mechie's going to step up, and the game didn't go according to plan. Is it nice, even though control what you can control, to get kind of a second opportunity to walk into that same stadium, same expectations and everything?
I think that's the same thing. I think that's buying into that same type of speculation. You know, I kind of leave all outcomes up to God. What people talk about as far as getting your opportunities and things, nobody really knows when your opportunity is going to come but God, you know. And if I stand true to that, then it keeps me present in the moment and ready whenever that time does come, you know, instead of kind of listening to when and blowing with the wind wherever it goes.
That's crazy, dude. I mean, that's deep right there. That's very deep by Mechie. So we'll see what happens with John Mechie. I'll tell you this: I might do a parlay after this. Bet US. I might put John Mechie yardage total over just based off that quote alone. Can't be too high, right? We'll check it out. This video isn't even sponsored by Bet US. I think I'm up. I lost the Diggs bet. The Diggs prop bet is dead, so that's gone. I'm not going to get that back. Had him over 4.5 touchdowns. Well, that ain't happening. So bye to that. But I might have to take that on the parlay. By the way, hopefully you won the $600, the guide on the Pile last week. We'll see how that goes. We'll make the parlay in a sec. So after the locker room media availability, after the CJ, after the DeMeco, we went out to practice. Now, normally we have practice obs. We have, information for you that's extremely useful. It's a walkthrough today, and you really didn't get a lot out there. I will say this: the biggest observations for me, Jimmy Ward and Azeez Al-Shire were at least out there stretching. Now, the official injury reports dropped, and this is how they list it, and it's much different than a usual injury report. They had Al Shire limited, Kalen Bullock was limited, Kamari Lassiter was full, Jared Patterson, he's got a concussion, he's not playing. Damian Pierce was hobbling around after the game, so we might see Steven Sims. Watch Steven Sims have like 3 touchdowns, and we can pull the audio, and I'll call myself a dumbass. I have no problem with that. Toto is going to play, and then we'll see what's up with Jimmy Ward. But you did have Jimmy and Azeez Al-Shire out there. Other than that, not really a lot going on. They didn't line up. The offensive line didn't line up, so no idea what's going to happen there, and that was what happened. Y'all are saying like some sort of like vague information or something. I don't know what that even entails or anything. Y'all asked if there was like some sort of big announcement. I have no idea. I've heard Kenyon Green's going to start. I've heard Kenyon Green's not going to start. I would lean towards him starting, but who knows? They keep secrets very well. And if you're a reporter and you don't say if he's going to start, then that's tough. That's tough. I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. But I don't think there's like some sort of mystery information floating out there. Who knows? We'll figure that out sooner rather than later. Hopefully. Other news in the NFL that I guess kind of impacts the Texans. I guess LaFar Jackson, aka AR-15, he was benched. So the Texans might have ended Anthony Richardson's season. Flacco Mania taken over in Indianapolis. One of the big moments for LaFar Jackson was in the game, outside of going 2 of 15 in the first half, was when he tapped out of the game. Will Kunkel of Fox 26, he has a really cool web series where he interviews guys. I'll say this, I like this series. I really thought it outside of interviewing Toro, I think he's done a good job. But we're interviewing Toro without his head on. I was kind of worried about Will's game, to be honest with you. When I saw that, I was like, oh my God, dude, this dude is interviewing Toro without his head on, asking him about like shooting t-shirts out of a cannon and going out. I mean, that was a bad look for Kunkel, and I was questioning his content, but he stepped his game up since. He's had some really, really solid interviews, and he should. Because he's a strong media type, and he does a really good job, and he's probably one of the best dressed guys in town. He caught up with Will Anderson. It's a big one. Will Anderson, look at him. You can tell Will's about to drop something intense here. There's about to be a doozy here on Kicking It with Kunkel, which you can listen to. Just don't listen to the Toro one, but he's had some good interviews in the past. Here's Kunkel with Will Anderson talking about the Anthony Richardson tap out.
Have you ever seen a quarterback go like this?
Never.
Bro,
Never.
So what goes, did you notice it?
I didn't notice it until after the game, and I seen an interview and he said it.
What goes through your mind when he does that? Anthony Richardson taps his head, needs to come out, and then after the game says, like, I was just tired.
Hey, I think it's just a testament to defense, man.
Yeah.
And how we were pressuring them and how we had them running around. And I feel like that was the whole thing. They was talking about, like, he hasn't been sacked much, and we was like, we got to change that today. Like, this got to be something different. And I feel like everybody took that as a challenge.
There you go. Kicking It with Kunkel. Not with Toro, though. And I like Toro. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like figuring out, like, when you're a kid and you go to Chuck E. Cheese, that the mouse banging the drums isn't real. It's kind of traumatic. And yeah, but yeah, that's that. All right, that was Will Anderson. Let's make some bread here, real quick. I'm gonna do a parlay on the go, sponsored by, or not even sponsored by BetUS. A lot of videos are sponsored by BetUS. This one is not. Last week I was feeling it, so we're gonna do this parlay on the go. I have no idea what I'm going to do. I want y'all to help me out here. This is kind of like a Price is Right situation. There's a lot of young bucks in here. Y'all know about Price is Right? Is that, am I like making a dated reference by mentioning the Price is Right? Am I good? Is that a safe space? Do y'all know, like, Price is Right, where you kind of you get help from the crowd and stuff, like $1, $1, $1. Okay, yeah, we're good. We're good. Okay. Yeah. All right. Maybe not. Bob Barker, rest in peace. Yes. God, he used to sling it around. He slang more sausage than Jimmy Dean, that Bob Barker. That dude, my God. But the Texans right now, they are an underdog against the Jets. They're getting 1 point. You can get even money, +1. If you pick them to win, you can get +110. So you get an extra $10. So if you bet 100, you're going to get 210 coming your way. Let's go ahead and make this prop bet quickly. You are crazy. Pause. Yeah, pause. Okay, my bad. That's on me. Y'all need to quit arguing in the chat, man. This ain't this type of vibe. Y'all are being crazy. Someone says $500 on Texans +1. I think you're actually probably betting that, my friend. You guys are getting crazy. But let's just go ahead and make this parlay. So right now, we look at this. We got $21.50 in the account. We have 3 prop bets open now with the Diggs being gone. We have CJ Stroud over touchdown passes, Danielle Hunter over sacks. That one's alive. So that's kind of where we're at. Let's pick the Texans in the prop section. And by the way, YouTube 150. If you go to Bet US, you put YouTube 150 in. Put $20 in. There's going to be 45 in your account. Now, I don't know if we're going to win 600 here, but we'll see. We'll see how this goes. I don't know if Bob Barker was 100 or not when he went. So I'm not going to bet on the spread. I think the line is terrifying. The over/under is terrifying too. 42.5 seems like a little bit too much. No over/under. Do the Texans score over 20.5 points? Do we think the Texans score over 20.5 points? The offense has struggled a little bit. I kind of think a team total over 20.5. The Jets are at 20.5 too. Do either of these teams score over 20.5 points? Let's go ahead and say that the Texans do score over 20.5 points, and we can continue to make the parlay. Right now, there are no odds there. Over under passing yards, CJ Stroud even 222.5 is even money. Damn, I'm not touching that. Aaron Rodgers 233.5, not touching that either. Passing touchdowns, CJ over 1.5 plus 158. Okay, so CJ Stroud 2 touchdown passes. We're going to get that. That puts the parlay up to plus 235. So 2.3 odds. So we're going to go Texans over 20.5, CJ Stroud over 1.5 touchdown passes. Receiving yards. We just heard some motivational words from John Mechie. Let's see what Dalton Schultz is up to 42.5. So they might think something's going on there. They don't even have John Mechie on. So I'll be damned. Take Dell at 57.5. That seems kind of decent. Do we like Garrett Wilson at 61.5? Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams. Garrett Wilson's a really good player. Let's go with Garrett Wilson over 61.5. That puts it up to 525. So plus 525. Receptions. Is Joe Mixon at 2.5 again? If he is, that's a big mistake. 3.5. Damn, 3.5 even money. I feel like 3 is the number. Dalton Schultz over 4.5. Now there's no huge receiving threat. Dalton Schultz over 4.5 receptions is plus 124. That would make this parlay crazy. Someone says Breece Hall receiving yards. 31.5. It's minus 121. I don't really want to touch that. That's not great value. But the Garrett Wilson over 61.5, that seems logical. I don't feel too strong about the Dalton Schultz over 4.5. I think it's very possible. I just don't really want to touch that. Don't like the Don't like the value. Touchdowns. Joe Mixon, 1+. I don't love the touchdown. John Mechie touchdown 4-1. That would make this a crazy parlay. I'm not betting on that. I like it, but that's 4-1. Quinturiano touchdown 14-1. 14-1 Quinturiano touchdown. Say I won't. Xavier Hutchins 3.5-1. I'm not going to touch any of these touchdowns. I'm not feeling any of these. Although I might. Quinturiano's going to score a touchdown one of these days, right? It's going to happen eventually, right? Let's see if we have sacks down here. There's interceptions. There's parlay odds head to head. Don't have sacks up yet. Sometimes that takes a while. Sometimes you can get you can F around and get someone on the sacks. But you see how fun this is. This is the fun way to bet. Whether you want to bet $5, whatever, it can take you through the season. There's head to head where you can bet on guys doing that. But this is what we're going to do. We got 5-5. So what I have is 3 items. I have CJ Stroud over 1.5, Texans over 20.5, and Garrett Wilson over 61.5. I'm going to put the $100.50 on there because I want to clear that to win $628. Now, let's say you want to just put $20 on this. $20 would win you, let's see. If you put the 20 in and then you use the promo code YouTube150, $20 will get you, divide that by 5. You'd be around $100. We're going to place that, confirm 3 legs. Boom. Let's see. Let's win another 600. So CJ Stroud over 1.5, Texans over 20.5, Garrett Wilson over receiving yards. Boom. Bets US is the place to go. YouTube 150. Let's win some bread. Going to be a fun day. Appreciate everyone for coming through. Tomorrow, again, 5 p.m. Central. Stutes is going to be live from New York. I'm going to Las Vegas Friday. So I'm going to be holding it down here. I'm going to do a Stefon Diggs questions video. I'm going to try to drop it sometime before noon. Not going to do it live. I'm going to be live twice tomorrow. The usual night stream right here, and with Cody Stutes on SNL, which we do daily as well. So I appreciate y'all for coming through. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to like. Be sure to ride along. Be sure to always remember when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together. My goodness, this is going to be a fun week. Trick or treat, mofo. Don't know why I said that. Bye.
If we got takeaways, if it's up, then it's up. We number one. You don't need to try your luck. Locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize, every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too.